said that you can't pay everybody. But I'm going to pay a walk-on.
Yeah,
but I see that these athletes financially are contributing a lot more to the university than a teacher would, teaching
English or some shit.
Teaching English for 2 years.
Because most of them,
I'm now looking at it this way.
Can you say that?
I'm saying that
but
because
how do you know that?
I'm saying that because
you have to talk to adjunct professors.
This is how I think about. Let's break down when you get accepted to college. The college accepts you because they see you as somebody, some way, somehow can contribute back to the school, some way, somehow.
Yeah, for sure.
That you can make an image or whatever. Now, say if you are in a fraternity, you're bringing that much money more because guess what? You have networks that you're able to get paid, so now you're able to contribute that much more. So what I'm saying is, these athletes are financially able to contribute way more to the school than a teacher that can possibly have 2-3 students that may be able together have the same income as an athlete that's most likely going to take off and contribute way more.
But I mean,
that's how I'm looking at it.
I get what you're saying.
I mean, yeah, maybe in general, but you can't really say that because, like, you don't really know. Like, you don't know. Like, you can't attribute one person's success to any teacher, right? Like,
especially if they're
I agree with that.
So there's no way to really weigh like how much of an impact that teacher has because it might be a situation where like all their people are becoming, white collar professionals, and they're not successful.
But isn't it a professor's job to some way somehow help that student direct them to their career occupation?
That's what I'm saying.
Whether if it's not a grandiose impact and like, oh, they changed my life. It's whether if it's like they knew somebody or whether they introduced them a certain concept that they liked and then kept going forth like. Whatever if it's a small contribution or a big contribution, but that professor,
I agree with you. But what I'm saying is, how do you measure that? You can't measure it.
I know. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like you can't really say who has more because we don't know. That's an X. That's a variable.
And the best player, like Andrew Luck per se, everybody knew Andrew Luck was going to be a star. But how many other players on that Stanford team were guaranteed to be stars and go make a ton of money? Like, a lot of them
all
flopped.
of his tight ends?
No, not all of them. I mean, one of them's having a down year. All of his receivers definitely flopped.
So my question to you guys is
still waiting for that middle St. Brown brother.
So do collegiate athletes...
I knew he wasn't going to be good.
This is a two-part question. One, are they able, while they're in school, collegiate level, are they able to be paid by other brands? No,
they can't. No. That's what this rule is doing.
Okay, so that's what I... Okay.
They would lose their eligibility.
Because I started getting confused when you guys started saying about NCAA paying them. That's when I started getting those two things mixed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So now
it's how you pay them and if you pay them.
Okay, so number two, do they get insurance, like medical insurance?
Nope.
No.
So I feel at least... Here's my thing. If
they don't get it while they're in school. I mean, they get it while they're in school, but they don't get it outside of school.
Even if all their injuries occurred in college while playing football.
Say if they were outside of the court or outside of the field and they get hurt,
it would just be like a student. Like, you know how you have a health clinic you can go to pretty
cheap.
Then
I feel like with the NCAA, if maybe paying them out of pocket, I feel like maybe that's going a little too far. But I do feel like the NCAA should allow, no matter what, for them to...
I think the XFL should just say, come play with us.
Yeah, but that's my thing. Like, you cannot play football at a professional level in high school. Maybe 4 guys. Fournette probably could have. Adrian Peterson probably could have. There's not cats built like that.
You could create a JBA, though. You could create an 18 to 22-year-old pool.
But how would we judge them if they want to get to the NFL Combine?
And remember... what was his name?
That's different, though.
Boyle for the Texans?
I know exactly what you're talking.
He was 19?
No, you're thinking... No, but he was a freaking Nigerian genius. He went to college at 16.
Yeah, but he flopped.
He flopped out, too. But that's because he was too young.
He was too young.
His body couldn't catch up to the physicality.
I don't even think it was his body. I think he just wasn't that good.
He wasn't that good, but
it was both.
At 25... he would have been in the league for like 8 years.
Yeah,
crazy
but
shit.
nobody lasts that long. That's the problem.
And that's
nobody's
like,
invested in development.
By the time his body would have caught up to his mental, or his mental would have caught up to his body.
But how many cats can we say that about high school or middle school or anything like that?
Exactly.
Like,
and football doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Which is why with basketball, if you're good enough, you should go to the league, but you're going to get exposed if you play against a bunch of slow-ass little kids, and all you got is dunk highlights and, like, no anything else. Like, if Zion went to the league out of high school compared to what he did, I think he'd have been worse off. Some cats just need that seasoning. And basketball is a totally different deal because you can play basketball every day for the rest of your life until you die. You cannot play football every day for the rest of your life.
That's not really true though either.
You play tackle football every day for the rest of your life?
I mean, you definitely can't do that, but you can.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't really. I mean,
you can play semi-pro.
You can't really play basketball forever though.
Yeah, you can.
Nah.
Shit.
Have you seen those old retired basketball players, bro?
Not all of them.
They can't walk, dude.
Magic could probably hit a free throw if he wanted to. And he beat HIV. He beat AIDS.
Bro, but you're talking about exception. Magic is an exceptional human being.
But I'm saying
he's not the rule.
There are guys, obviously.
For as many NFL players there are with CTE, there's probably twice as many basketball players with tendonitis and torn meniscus.
Well, yeah.
And Achilles.
But that comes with old age. Like your brain still
It's not
works.
even
Bill
old
Russell's
age,
still
bro.
all there.
It's like every time you dunk, there's 6 times the amount of impact coming down on your knees.
Well, yeah.
Every time you're jumping for a shot, you're talking about 2-3 times the amount of impact coming on your knees.
But how many cats is hooping at 40? They may be trash at the park, but they still hooping.
I mean, yeah, it's true.
Name somebody at 40 playing football at receiver. There's like, Darryl Green. He's a freak of nature. Dion, if he never messed up his foot, probably would have played 20 years. Like, so with football, even look at running backs. Running backs are the perfect example of why are the crack in the armor as to why you have to pay college football players. Like, just isolating it just to football, you have to pay them when they're at their prime. It's only right. So you look now. In some cases, you look at Alabama had like a 5th string running back who transferred from another school, was good at the other school, transferred there when they won a national title against Clemson, and was studying to become a doctor. And he got his, like, that's great. That's a great hookup for you. Your grad transfer or whatever. You handle your business. But no, it's a lot of cats who don't graduate college because they probably couldn't have made it on academics alone, or the way they funnel, and almost every athlete who's come out and said this, they don't let you pick the major you want a lot of the time. And some athletes even come out and said, like with North Carolina, they're like,
I think it also depends on what program you're going to and what you're picking the program for as well.
Almost every school.
If you talk to your coach and you're like, I want to go to the league, that's what I want to do. Well, that's different than like.
But everybody wants to go to the league.
Not everybody wants to go to the league. Some people do. They would
want the chance.
Some people do actually pick a school based off of academics and community and proximity to home and where their friends are going and all that sort of stuff. Like,
and then you have to factor in it's a subtle thing.
So what I'm saying is, like, if you're going to North Carolina to play for Butch Davis, talking about you want to
Mac Brown
win an ACC championship or whatever.
They're actually still in the hunt. The ACC is trash.
That's different than like, okay, I'm gonna go to Central Michigan because I like their engineering program.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, if you come to me and I'm your recruiting, and you tell me you want to go to the league, then yeah, I'm going to tell you to take these sports management classes that are easy because
or be a comms
you don't
major,
want to be here,
or be an Afghan studies major, which their reports
that's where your mind is.
But their reports like North Carolina, they're like they made a lot of the black players do ethnic studies. But white players could major whatever they wanted in. And that was a couple different cases. But I've noticed that a lot with a lot of black athletes. I'll say, I think you chose Africana studies? Who made you choose that? Because I'm pretty sure you weren't trying to major in that.
I think the other thing, other thing of that too is like, you're talking about
basketball, football.
You're talking about family dynamics as well, right? So it's like those white people could have somebody who went to college to guide them versus black players might not, so they have to trust these people. So they have to trust these people who maybe they shouldn't be trusting.
And we can all say this. I think we've been the victim of some shitty counseling advice in college at least once or twice, regardless of what it was, whatever you asked them.
I mean,
you probably got some shitty advice.
You're not wrong, but what I'm saying is, like, what I know now about college and what I'm able to help my brothers and sisters with is exponentially greater than anything I ever got it.
Yeah, because you were the first one.
And I wasn't even the first one. That's the thing, is I wasn't even the first one. But it's like,
I thought you were the first one.
No, I wasn't the first one.
Immediate family or just in general?
No, my grandpa went to college. My mom went to college. Like,
oh shit,
bro, I'm 4th generation American.
That don't mean you went to college.
Like,
my mom went to college, but she had to leave. I had people in my family who were doctors, lawyers, and shit. But you don't necessarily, like, at what age were you introduced to college?
When I was born.
Like, that's the first thing you saw in the crib as a baby.
I've never not thought about college.
Same here. My aunts were like, "You're gonna go to college." I was like, "What's that?"
Now, if I look back at it, like, I did a lot of thinking. I would have waited on going to college because it was like a lot of pressure for me because I was like one of the first to go. Like, my parents did start going to college and then they stopped. So, and then my brother was supposed to go to college and he didn't.
But that's a different experience though than like if your parents had gone and finished. You know,
my parents didn't go and finish.
That's a different pressure than if they had gone and finished.
They want to see you finish. Whereas it's like, okay, you're gonna go and do this because it'll distinctly make you.
Because if they had finished, then maybe they wouldn't have given a fuck. Maybe they would have just.
They
been
definitely
like,
wouldn't have given a fuck. But now, I mean, no, they probably still would have because it's that whole like my parents came from like they're in that in between where like they just finished seeing segregation, like the segregation, Civil War, and my mom's side of the family was like a lot of them are part of the Black Panthers, so they see it as like education is liberation. So like you gotta go because this is power. Like my grandma, rest in peace, like she always told me knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. No matter what, knowledge is power. So I had that embedded in my head. But then once I went to school, especially a private institute, I realized I have all the fucking knowledge. Like, not saying like I can definitely learn more, but I learned the hard way, which my dad used to always tell me, which is it's not a lot about what you know, but it's who you know. You know what I mean? Especially in college. So there's a lot that I wish I could have slow down because I went to school and I was just like, all right, I gotta get it. It doesn't matter what degree I get. I know I'm a good writer. I'm just gonna get a degree. But now that I have it's been 5 years that I've been out of school, I had to sit here and do a whole restart. And I know that a lot of us which is not talked about, which I wish a lot of people would talk about, which is that whole restart that you have to do once you leave college. Unless you are like
going
somebody
right now.
You know what I mean? Like once you're assigned, like somebody you are like.
Shut up! I told you about that literally every day. Like literally every day.
I knew it going into college. I knew it going into college.
So you can't say you weren't prepared. We were all talking about it. You can be prepared,
but until you go through some shit. Until you really go through some shit in reference to your life, people can tell you all day about something.
Exactly.
But it doesn't really hit you until it hits you.
Exactly.
And then they can't help you out of it anyway because you have to figure it out.
Exactly. And that's what I always tell people. College is like a gym membership. Mm-hmm. Like you get what you put into it. Like how many fit people do you know at the gym? How many unfit people do you know with a gym pass? Like getting that gym pass doesn't guarantee you anything other than resources.
Yes.
Like you have a place you can go to with all the stuff you need to work out, but that doesn't actually mean you're going to go there. And if you do go there, that doesn't mean you're actually going to put in the work. And then if you put in the work, that doesn't mean you're going to actually keep up the work once you get outside of that facility. So there's a lot of layers to it.
And, you know, like, yeah, there's definitely a lot of layers to it. Like, I agree, because I know there's a lot of it that I had a big part in play of not going after the things that I did. But also, too, like I said, there's a lot of misguidance that comes into, like, definitely going into college and coming out to college. I 100 wholeheartedly agree, because I've definitely came across people, like, seniors in high school and then seniors in college, and they're like, yo, like, what do I do next? And I'm like, you know, like,
this is what you went to college for, to figure that out?
But shit, I went to college and I thought I was like, you know, oh, this is what I'm gonna do, and I came out even more confused.
That's the fucked up part.
Like, I really came out more confused because I was like, oh, okay, I have an English degree, I can do anything. And I looked at other people, I'm like, I'm not as great as an author as them, or a great, you know, writer that can get a master's, and you know what I mean. So there was a lot of psyche, like you said, there's a lot of layers